Welcome in. Let's get to it today. We're gonna be talking about burnout in business, friend, and how it this is real. And I'm so excited for today. I feel so good. Burnout is real. This is a very real thing. So I want to talk about it today. Hello, TikTok. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Instagram. Friend is feeling good today, but I have a question for you, entrepreneurs and business owners. I got to scoop back some because I'm just so close on my lives. Have you ever experienced burnout in your business? And I want to talk about this idea of burnout because this is so real. Even when the business, even when you love your business. Okay. Hey, Heaven. Girl, you got the right name. Melodies from Heaven. What's up, Heaven? She says, good morning, beautiful. What's up, friend? We are talking about burnout today. And y'all, I don't mean burnout and you're this weak entrepreneur who's not cut out for it. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean burnout like that. Okay. I mean burnout like you are doing this thing by yourself, an idea that you had, a creative idea that you had, you put it into motion, you've been putting in the work, putting in all of the things, but baby, doing that thing by yourself over time ain't no joke, honey. Heaven laughing at me. What's up, y'all? So happy Wednesday. I hope this ain't your first time joining my show. If so, tap the screen and you are going to love it here because we are here every weekday morning to help you conquer your day. Business owners, we talking about burnout today, friend. Okay, we're talking about burnout. We're live on TikTok, we're live on Instagram, we got live on YouTube and Facebook. Let's get into it. Have you ever felt burnt out in your business? Okay. And I was weary about doing burnout because I don't want this to be some type of pity party that we're going to have here today. This is not a pity party that we're going to have here today, entrepreneurs, about feeling burnt out. This is not a pity party that we're going to have on the live show today. I feel so good. Thank you, God. I feel so good. Thank you, God. What I want us to do today, if you are experiencing burnout, if you are experiencing burnout in your business, I want to be so honest with you. I want you to do a couple of things. I was about to say two things. I want you to do a couple of things. If you are experiencing burnout, I want you to do this number one thing. I want you to stop scrolling today. Because the worst thing that you can do in your season of burnout is look and scroll and say, oh, well, Deb on live and this person on TikTok and they went viral. And they like, that's the first thing you need to do if you're feeling burnt out. Okay. And we're going to get into it today. Heaven says, baby, you ain't telling no lies 5 years in. Yeah, I've had my business for, I've, I've been I guess, somewhat of a kind of real business owner for it'll be 6 years this year. Well, yeah, it'll be 6 years this year since 2019. But I birthed Conquer back in 2021. So it'll be a 4 year anniversary of my business or my brand Conquer this fall. So I get it. I get the burnout. I'm not mad at people who are saying, and y'all, I am the consistency preacher. But I'm not mad when you have a couple of days where you ain't feeling it. But we got to talk about what happens when you get there because you cannot stay there. Because how many of us have had a season of business where we were so exhausted, we sat down on the floor and we stayed down sitting on the floor way too long. And when it's just you and you got big dreams, you have things that you have to accomplish, sitting down on the floor and taking a little break is cool. Sitting in the corner crying for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks can be detrimental to what you have going on. Okay. And so I have to talk about it and I have to be honest. Business owners, if you've been sitting in the floor crying for 2 days, cool. If you've been off social media 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, baby, go call the lady and come on. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't mad at the lady. Okay. Allison says, hello, all. What's up, Allison? Happy Wednesday. Thank you for the follow on TikTok, friend. So here for it. We do this every weekday. Let's get into it, y'all. Happy Wednesday. Have you ever experienced burnout in your business? Have you ever experienced, oops, let me mute my Facebook tab, child. Have you ever experienced burnout in your business? And again, this is not going to be a shame party. This is not going to be a pity party. But I want to talk about how I've conquered seasons of burnout inside of my business because I know I quit like a crazy person, quit my job for my business back in 2021. So I've been working my business full time for a couple of years. Last year in my business, I was so burnt out. I didn't even realize how, and when I say burnout, I want you to think about what your definition of burnout is. My definition of burnout is kind of like when you're in a season of your business and you love it, but the ability to be motivated or the ability to kick into that discipline is just warped for some reason. Right. And I know for me, like last year, I had an extreme season of burnout in my business, and I found myself doing social media content, but just kind of posting to check the box. And then obviously the money slowed down because how many of y'all know when it's just you inside your business, when you ain't right, the money ain't right, the content ain't right, the customers ain't right, baby, ain't nothing right. You know what I'm saying? So I had a period where I was so burnt out. I actually considered going back to work, eventually going back to work, but of course, child, that didn't work out. Child, they ain't last long. That just lasted, child. I ain't worked there 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So that didn't work out. But I want to talk about this idea of burnout, and I want to talk about how I conquered that, how I'm continuing to conquer that, and how other women inside our community is conquering it. Okay. So let's get into it. So when you feel burnt out, I'm hearing a lot of yeah. I can either be super politically correct or I can be honest here, okay? Because I have had a chance to connect with and coach so many women, I have seen this story time and time and time again. I've read this book and seen this story on burnout a million times. I've touched so many women. I've heard this story so much. Burning out does not mean you're a bad business owner. I have to say that. Burnout does not mean that you weren't built for it. I have to say that. I think that I think that even I'm gonna take my experience for example, right? I think that I experienced burnout in my business because of the expectations that I had for myself. And I don't think that the expectations that I have for myself are bad. They're just big. Right? So and again, I'm want to say that again. And maybe you can relate to this, right? When you have a business, you have a dream, the expectations that I have for myself, they're not bad, they're just big, which can be the best thing and the worst thing because that is the very thing that is going to fuel me to get up and go on live every day, to be the 1%, to host the events, to face the rejection, to do all of the things. But that is also the reason why I can lay in bed at night and literally sob, and literally wake up and lay in bed and be like, bruh, what am I doing? Am I doing it right? Am I posting the right stuff? Like, why ain't they buying the stuff? Is my words right? That thing that I said, that comment that they made, like, should I think about that? Should I ignore that? That coach that put that content out, they don't feel right for me, but should I do that anyway? Like, all of these questions, and it's not because my expectations are bad, it's just because my expectations for myself are big, which leads to now y'all know I tell y'all I ain't no mental health professional. I'm a mental health patient. Okay. Any other mental health patients in the comments? Okay. I ain't no mental health professional. But that will wear on you, bruh. And when you are a business owner, you have to watch out for your mind because that will become, instead of it being the catalyst to grow you, it will be the weapon to like keep you in the box. Which is why I'm so big on this show. I'm so big on mindset. I'm so big on making sure that you got the right type of girls around you. I'm so big on making sure you having conversations with women that you like, women that you would actually get like I'm so big on that because I feel like that makes such a big difference for us women. Like for real. Ashley said, "This is good." What's up, Ashley? I don't think I've seen you on the show before, friend. I'm glad you're here, girl. But that's why I'm so big on that. Because I don't know about y'all, but when my mindset get wrong, baby, I will spiral out of control. For real. I'll spiral out of control, girl. For real. So I want to get into this conversation, right? Because I want to talk about this. We talked about this last night inside the Conquer Club. Shout out to the girls that are inside my community, inside the Conquer Club. When you're experiencing, I feel like I've grown through this so much by the grace of God. When you're experiencing these seasons of not being motivated, not being disciplined, when do you know to give yourself grace versus when do you know to kind of push through anyway? And I think that this is a very fine line. Okay, take my house shoes off. And I think that this is so different for everybody. I think that this is so different for everybody. So let me ask you, okay, there's somebody watching right now. When do you decide, hey, I'm going to give myself grace? Or when do you decide I'm going to push through anyway? If you're experiencing burnout, okay? And thank God because I feel like I'm conquering this and still conquering this on a couple of levels, but I feel like I've been able to kind of lock into a mindset that's kind of like, hey, bro, and we talked about this last night inside the Conquer Club when we did our Tuesday call. If you are experiencing burnout in your business, you know what I say? I say, baby, welcome to the jungle. I say, welcome to the jungle. If you're a woman and you have a business and you burnt out and you posting content and ain't nobody liking it and you ain't making sales and you scared, baby, welcome to the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. This is exactly what you signed up for, friend. When you said I wanted to be a 1%, the world says prove it. And people don't want to hear that. The world is going to say prove it. Your circumstances is going to say prove it. Your business is going to say prove it. Your mindset is going to say prove it. But this is why it's the 1% and not the 99%. Okay. We cannot expect to jump into a game like this. And y'all know I love me some Gary V, baby. Shout out to Gary V, honey. I listen to him literally every morning. But Gary V says if you're an entrepreneur, baby, you're literally signing up to take the punches. And I think a lot of people may think, and I'm gonna go into some teaching here in a second because I want to give some tactical tips and stuff that you can do if maybe this is your season. But people think entrepreneurship is the reel that you post, the reel that I posted of being outside during the day, a little cute one too. So whatever. Okay. But let's get into it. So if you burnt out, let's talk about some stuff that you can actually do inside of your business. The first thing I would say, if you've ever experienced burnout, then welcome to the game. Welcome to the jungle, baby. Welcome to the jungle, friend. I don't know what you think you thought this is. Allison says, I don't know what grace is. I have to keep pushing myself to break and stop. Oh, girl. I talk about this a lot, and I don't know how if I've talked about it on the show recently, but I've talked about this concept that I really believe in, which is this concept of truly being your own best friend. If you're a woman, if you're a black woman, if your self-esteem is a 0 or your self-esteem is a 12 out of 10, I highly encourage you to be your own best friend. Deb is my BFF. I am 100% self-certified, selfish as hell. I love me. The world does revolve around me. Yes. That is the world that I live in. My own best friend. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if my best friend called me and said, oh, friend, I posted something and they ain't like it. Oh, friend, I went a week and I ain't did this. Oh, friend, I had this happen, so I had to step away. I would be like, best friend, you good. I would be like, best friend, you got this. That dream you got is going to happen for you. That's the type of self-talk that I have inside of me. When something happen, I be like, Deb, yeah, I don't know what you were thinking when you did that, but it's all right. I mean, hey, it just is what it is. I highly encourage women to adapt this. Be your own best friend. The same way you hype me up, the same way you hype that influence up in their comments, the same way you hype your homegirl up with when she go back to that same man, whatever. I highly encourage you to do that for yourself. Highly encourage you to be your own BFF. The same way that you would tell me, oh, Deb, it's okay, girl. I need you to do that for you, friend. Life hack. Be your own best friend. Be your own biggest fan instead of your own biggest critic. It does not matter if you have not posted for the last 6 weeks, baby. Today is a new day. You would tell your best friend, "It's okay, friend. Get to it." You would say, "It's okay, friend. You still talented. The girls gonna still like you. Get to it." I highly, highly, highly encourage women to adapt that mindset and be your own best friend. Deb is my best friend. She is that girl. I love seeing her. I love looking at her. I think she's fine. I think she's sexy. I think she's smart. I think she on point. I think she can get anything she want because that's my girl. That's how I see me. Okay? That's how I see me. So this idea, like when I was trying to like adapt this idea of like true grace in my life and not sitting in shame so much. I hate shame. It has just been truly one of the most negative emotions I've experienced is feeling ashamed of some of the stuff that I've done in my life, which is when I really started to adapt this concept and this framework of truly being my own best friend and making it a vital part of my life. I'm my own best friend when it comes to my marriage. I'm my own best friend when it comes to my business. I'm my own best friend when it comes to my family and every other thing in my life. As a woman, I think that is so important because the amount of women that I run into that put others before them is completely mind blowing. Not a healthy place to be, I don't think. Okay. But it's all good. I get it, man. Been there before for real. Understand it. Okay. But when I say it, when you're experiencing burnout, and welcome to the show, y'all. So follow along, tap the screen, turn on your live notifications because we do this every weekday at 11 a.m. Central. I think that if you are experiencing burnout, there are just a, three parts that you can do. Because have y'all ever been like super burnt out in your business? Vanetta said, beautiful. That's a word. Thank you, girl. Thank you. That's real. The amount of women that I talk to that beat themselves internally is it probably won't blow your mind, but it's truly mind blowing. They be like, Deb, I want to go. Like, I'm like, what do it, girl? I mean, you good. You good, friend. You good. Hell, you don't need my permission to go turn up. I ain't need nobody permission to start a show. I was like, hey, it's Monday. I'm starting the show. What's up? There's no permission slip needed for you to be great. There's no permission slip needed for you to be graceful with yourself. There's no permission slip. Like there is nothing that you've done in this world, friend, especially when it comes to a doggone business that requires you to lay in bed and beat yourself up at night. It's nothing. You can't tell me nothing you've done for you to be able to treat yourself that way. Nothing. Not been consistent, not executed on the idea. Like none of that is worth you laying in bed. Like none of it is worth you laying in bed beating yourself up at night about. Nothing. I don't care what the next person is doing. The only thing I care about is you deciding, hey, that was yesterday, this today, and I'm gonna get to it. But you know what the thing that happens is the longer we put off that I'm gonna get to it, the worse it gets. There are some people who are saying, man, I'm finna start going live. I'm gonna start doing my content. I'm finna take it more serious. Like when I go out, I'm gonna take my little tripod. I'm gonna start recording. And that was in January. And then it became February. And then it became March. And then you saw somebody else and you was like, oh, I need this tripod instead. So I'm gonna do it next month. Like that's what keeps you in a cycle of burnout. That's why I said if you ain't feeling your life right now, stop scrolling. I say it every single show. If you ain't feeling your life, feeling your business, feeling your motivation, the worst thing that you can do is open your eyes and start scrolling on TikTok. That's about the dumbest thing you can do. If you feel burnt out in your business right now, it's for you to be scrolling on social media. And I will stand on it and I say it every single show. That's the dumbest thing you can do for yourself, for your self esteem, for where you are in your life right now. The worst thing that you can do is start opening up social media and scrolling all of the apps. You are plummeting your self esteem, plummeting your self esteem. Even if it's inspiring, because you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna say, dang, they so confident, they can do that, they got that nice house and that aesthetic. It's still the dumbest and silliest and worst thing that you can do to your self-esteem. You know what I'd prefer to you to do instead? These three things that I got this bottom of the screen. First thing, go in your room and go to sleep. Second thing, go get around some like-minded people. That friend that you wouldn't ever trade lives with, stop listening to her advice. I have so many family members that I love and admire, but there's not a single family member I have that I would trade lives with. Not a single one. So guess what? If you think I work too much, or you think this, or you think that, then to hell with it. You know what's best for you. If you're listening to this, you know what's best for you. Even when I'm coaching women, I told my ladies last night, I've been coaching y'all forever, but you know what's best for you. Vanetta said, baby, let me go put my makeup on and get out. And you better. You better. You know my best place to go when I ain't trying to spend a whole bunch of money, but I need a little 1-2 to get myself together? Y'all know I go to a hotel. I go find me a nice hotel, free valet, go in the lobby, sit and work. You know what's best for you. And then start small. God dang. There were times in my business where I was like, oh, I'm finna go hard. You know what I'm saying? You ever had, you be like, man, I ain't been doing none. I'm gonna start doing 5 TikToks a day. I'm gonna start going live for 2 hours. Man, I'm finna get my strategy together. I'm finna give me some new products. I'm finna, like, you be like, and then all of that, and you do it for 4 days max. Friend, how am I describing it so accurately? Because I've been there before. This has been my life. The burnout means you need to go rest. Go in there and go watch Straw on Netflix with Janaya, a 40-year-old Janaya. Right? She said, thanks, love. Of course, girl. And some like-minded people. And here's the thing about like-minded people too. Y'all know how we always talk about how, like, being around like-minded people. With shout out to the ladies in Dallas, we're gonna be together next Saturday. But we always talk about having like-minded people around. But I think that this is twofold. This is what I believe in, right? So I think that it's important to have like-minded business friends. You know, all this. If you ain't got friends, you can talk about getting the LLC with. I mean, no. I think that you should have your business friends, have your girls that's on it, have your girls that's consistent, have your girls that got a good mindset. They not out here doing XYZ. Yes. But no lie. Have you a few friends you can kick it with. Like, for real. Have you a few friends that you can kick it with. Have you a few friends that you can say, what you doing Sunday? I ain't doing nothing. You ain't doing nothing. You want to go to the Mexican spot? You want to go to Gloria's? Have you some friends you can kick it with? I'm amazed. And this is just because I've had a different life experience. When we don't have friends. You know, and I know as we get older, especially as we get into more everyday obligations, that can look so differently for all of us. Mm, That's what I've seen. And then, y'all, if you've been burnt out too, I highly recommend you start a little small. Push yourself though. Because how many of us watching me have not gone live in the past 2 weeks for their audience? Haven't gone live in the past 2 weeks. Haven't gone live in the past month. I know if Allison watching, I saw her on live yesterday. She go live like I do. She go live all the time. This is the type of stuff that will appear scary, but is the you ever had a situation where the one thing that appears scary is the very thing that's just gonna bust everything wide open for you? They remind me of busted wide open, didn't I? Yeah. Girl, listen. If you have not gone live for your audience, but you're burnt out, I say go for it. I say if you're burnt out, I say start small, but going to show up and getting waist deep in it, I think is the only thing that brings clarity. I don't think clarity only comes from watching a YouTube video about strategy. I think it gives almost like a temporary buzz. It gives you temporary insight, but because I've been coaching for so long, you know what happened. You get that strategy, you hear that, but it's like going to church. It feel good for the moment, you know. It's like having a one night stand. Like it feel good for the moment, and after that, you like, I'm just as confused as I was before. Because I honestly think that moving your feet is the only way to clarity. And if you're listening to me and you have a business, I'm telling you, and I'm a coach, you know what's best for you. You know what's best. You know what's next. You know what can make sense for you. I'm telling you. The only thing is, it feels big and hard. And there's nothing nobody can do about it. Welcome to the jungle. This is what you signed up for. This is why it's only going to be a few of us that are going to be able to conquer this, because it is big and it is hard. But what did I say here? Baby, welcome to the game. It is what you signed up for. So take your small steps. You know what's best for you. And clarity comes when you start moving your feet. When I started doing this show, I was like, I tossed around a couple of ideas. I went back and forth. I wanted to start it a week before, but I was like, I want my husband to, I was like, I want Bay to finish my wall, because y'all know I had a different wall and stuff when I was going live before. I didn't know what it was going to be. But I know the best way to get clarity is not by me going on YouTube and listening to 6,000 videos on having a live show, or going in Canva and try to figure out, if you do a live show, how do you do this? And how, like, the only way is to get to it and go learn what's required. What do the people love? What do they expect? What do you think about it? The best way to conquer your burnout is to rest, get around some people that you would actually trade lives with, and take small steps, friend. You know what's best for you. You know what's best for you. You know what's best for you. If you don't take anything else I said from this live, listen to that. You know what's best for you. What's best for you is not what I'm doing. What's best for you ain't no live show every day. I don't know. But I do know that if you want to be seen, if you want to be visible, if you want people to care about you, you want people to invite you out to speak. I literally got asked to speak twice this morning because I show up. There is something like we cannot, like, there are times when I wanted those opportunities, but I would just post and hope and go sit in the corner. A true oxymoron to what I say I wanted in my life. The season of sitting and waiting and posting and hoping is over. That's over. She said, well, congrats to that. Thank you, girl. I ain't say yes to neither one of them. No, thank you. Not in alignment with what I got going on. For real. We have to show up, ladies. We have to be kind to ourselves, ladies. We have to think we look good enough, ladies. We can't compare ourselves to somebody that's been doing it 3 times as long, ladies. I mean, what are we doing? This is the best time for you to wake up and conquer whatever has been on your heart. For real. Kizzy says, baby, faith without work is dead. I'm speaking to myself. Yes, it is, girl. That's real. And we'll say that, and I get it, girl. I truly get it. What's up, Rashana? Rashana says, hey, everyone. I get it. And this is why I love the Conquer Club. And this is why I love spaces like that. Because number one, we don't allow anybody to play small. And for two, we're not impressed by the things that you say. I'm not impressed by the things that you say. I'm gonna go fact check you because I know what it's like, and let's just go there, okay? I know what it's like to be the one. Everybody think you're so successful. Everybody hype you up. You do all this talk. You done learned a little something about LLC. You done learned a little something about having a Facebook page, and everybody in your life thinking you get into it. Because you know how to do this. You know how to run your mouth. You know how to talk a good game. You know how to be around your cousins and be like, yeah, because I got me a coach in the LLC. You know how to do all of that. All you know how to do is this. Go live. Ain't going to do it. Too scared. I'm calling BS on you. Loser. Go pitch somebody and talk about your business. Won't do it. I'm calling you out. No, ma'am. No. You can impress your family and friends with all of this. And that's going to have your head in the clouds and have you miserable every night. No, ma'am. We don't do that. Won't do it. Shonda said, baby, this is helping me. I'm so glad that you're here, friend. I'm glad you're here, Shonda. For real. Kizzy said, and I ain't doing ish. I ain't doing about a nothing. Ain't doing about a nothing. For real. Let's be real with ourselves in this season, y'all. Let's be real with ourselves in this season. And tap the screen if this is helping you. Tap the screen. Let me know. Like, let's do this. Let's do it. And if you're and again, we're talking about burnout today, right? We're talking about burnout. So, I often share that this February my daddy passed away. Oh, excuse me. And I had a really rough morning yesterday. This is my first experience with grief. My very first experience with grief, and it was my daddy, and it was completely out of the blue. And of course, I live out of town from my family, so I got a call, and it just started. I watched him die for a week, and I came back to Texas, and then he passed away that Tuesday. Man, I get it. Man, I was. I talked about this the other day in the show on Monday, and I'm talking about it again because Father's Day is coming up. I was a zombie. I was a zombie like I've never been before in all 34 years of my life. I have never been that broken and that disconnected before ever in my life when I experienced my daddy dying. I just hadn't. And that was one of the busiest seasons that I've had in my business since the pandemic. It rocked me. But again, and this is why I share these 3 steps, right? Because I'm not mad at burnout because baby, life gonna come. But what I highly recommend you do is get you some rest. Man, if I can beg you, put down the phone. Don't scroll, don't compare, don't be like, well, let me just get inspired and get some ideas. Baby, you know what's best for the purpose. You know what's best for the calling. You know what's best for the dream that's on your life. I'm telling you, there's not a coach on the internet that can tell me what was best for me when I watched my daddy in a casket and I had this business right here. It wasn't nothing nobody could tell me, bro. I had to go sit and see what I needed because there have been so many seasons of burnout, and it was only burnout because, again, we're trying to live up to what we have in our head, and it's just a dangerous place to be. Mrs. Molly on TikTok, thank you for the follow, friend. She says, I feel you. My mama passed last year, so I can relate to it. Oh, man, that was tough. And it's one of those things that's still so fresh for me. I can't talk about it long because you'll probably see my eyes wandering up because it's so fresh for me. And I know for a fact the way that I'm navigating and conquering my grief right now is through work. I know this. When my daddy died, I started doing my show. I get it. Whew. I get it. I get it. I get having the dream. I get it. I get it. I'm telling you, I get it, friend. I get it. But what good does it do for my purpose for me to still be there? What good does it do for the gift in my belly if I allow it to be warped in shame? What good does it do for the gift? What good does it do for me to gift, for me to be in that season and open my phone and start scrolling and comparing? What good does it do for the gift, friend? What good does it do for the gift, friend? You know what's best for you. After that happened, I came home. And it's one thing that happens when you face tragedy. At least for me, something that birthed inside of me was I got to live my life. I said, I got to live my life. I literally have probably only cried on live probably twice before. But woo, child, honey, I'm about to go get my boots on the ground fan and fan myself, girl. Talking about where them fans at for real today. When I watched my daddy in that casket and I came back, I said, I got to go live my life, man. I got to go live my life. And I know everybody experiences grief differently, but what it brought up for me was I got to live my life. So that means I got to be nice to myself. I don't lay in bed and shame myself because I didn't post on Instagram for 3 days. I don't lay in bed and shame myself because I didn't get sales for 3 weeks or 3 months. I don't I can't do that. That doesn't serve the gift. It doesn't serve the purpose. It doesn't serve the long game. And if you're a Black woman and you have a gift in your belly like I do, shame does not serve you. Comparison does not serve you. Being sad and thinking, oh, well, damn, she can get through that because that doesn't serve you. What serves you is saying, hey, I'm going to rest I'm going to go get around some like minded women. Some women I would actually probably trade places with. Not women who hate their man, hate their job, hate the way they look. Well, like not those type of women, right? And then you start moving your feet. And you know what's best for you when it comes to moving your feet. Moving your feet does not mean do what Deb's doing what that person is doing. It means going and sitting with yourself. It's saying what's next for me so that I can live. So that I can live. Because this is why I always call BS on the woman who will post a picture of her fine self on her birthday. It would be refreshing for the likes. But when it comes time to go live for your business, you won't do it. When it comes time to post about your business every day, you won't do it. I'm calling BS on you. That's not living, friend. That's not serving the purpose that's in your belly. That's why I'm going to call BS on you. That's why I'm going to tell you to step it up. That's why I'm going to tell you to get to it and stop being scary and stop being a loser and thinking like a loser and acting like a loser, because you are not. I've seen this movie time and time again in my own life and in the hundreds of women whose lives that I've been blessed enough to lead. We cannot roll that way. We cannot sit in the corner of burnout and watching everybody else pass us by. What a pitiful and sad place to be. What a pitiful and sad place to be. But the best thing about it, and the very reason why we birthed this brand and this business has been what it is because we are truly, come on, shameless plug, don't play with me, baby. Is that we truly wake up and conquer every day. And it is not easy, friend. You are seeing well, before I start crying, the best version of me. Made up, edges slicked down, got on the bra, got on some drawers, lights on, phone charged. Like, yo, this is a facade. This is regular people living everyday life. So even when I hear women that have a business, don't have no money, no sales, no audience, be scared to go live, I am truly mind blown out of this world. Truly mind blown. Do you hate yourself that much? Do you dislike your idea that much? Truly mind blown. Truly mind blown. Truly mind blown. Shame on you, girl. We're not doing that this year. Thank God for the women who have come into the Conquer Club and have conquered this part of themselves, like Allison. Cheers to you, friend. Cheers to women like Rashana, who shared her story. Literally having CPS come and take her kids in a season of singleness, in a season of working, all the way to today. She is crazy about being visible and showing up for herself. And baby, they got her a new man, they got married, and she's self-employed. The only person who knows what's best for you is you and your creator. You know what's best. You know it's time to start moving your feet. And the advice that I have for you is to start small. Start small. I'm working with a client right now. She works, she has kids, she ain't been consistent, all of the things. She was like, well, I guess I'm going to start going live every day for an hour. I said, no. She said, why? I said, no, because you're not going to do it. So why is you telling me you're going to go live for an hour every day because it sounds good and you know your ass ain't going to do it? Like, let's be for real. What can you do? I can go live once a week. Done. What can you do that's realistic for you, your life, and your world? And you know the next part is gonna be you gotta stick to it. There's no point in having the idea if you can't stick to it. I'm gonna call BS on you, and I'm gonna call you a loser. Sorry. I'm not impressed by the idea that you had. I'm not impressed by what you did in February. I'm not impressed that you went live on March the 6th. I'm not impressed that you had a viral video from 2024. I'm not impressed. What you want today? What do you want today? Or are you gonna hang up from this live and treat it like church? Felt good. Deb was speaking to me, and I ain't gonna do nothing about it. I'm gonna just post and hope and sit and wait. That I guess I'm gonna just wait on Tyler Perry to come discover me, child, because you know he out here changing lives. I might be 1 in 1 billion. No, ma'am. Loser mentality and loser activity. That's what that is. Loser activity. It's just what it is. It's loser activity. It's a loser mentality. It truly is. We got to get to it, y'all. This is the perfect day for you to lean in again. This is the perfect day for you to say, well, I know I ain't been consistent for a while. Oh, I know I've been putting off that thing that I wanted to do. This is the perfect day to start. Perfect day to get to it. Kizzy said Deb is stepping on toes today. Baby with a 6-inch heel from Rainbow. Okay. Not the shoes from Rainbow. I'm here for this conversation. I love this conversation. Because this is how it really is. This is how it really is. Rashana says, I'm giving myself grace. I have a lot going on personally, and it's okay. Thank you for this. Yes. What is grace? Grace for me, I was sharing earlier, Rashana, and you know this is how I think too. Um, what is your definition of grace, everybody? Let me know down in the comments. My version of grace is treating me like my own best friend. I've always that's been my version of grace. If my best friend was telling me this, she was thinking this, feeling this, experiencing this, doing this, I would listen. I will offer her sympathy, and I will offer her a next step. And that is my version of grace. Deb, you didn't do this. Or Deb, you did this. Like, nah. You ever look back on something and you be like, woo, child, now I don't know what I was thinking. I was just out here. Okay. Or I was just But what would you tell your best friend? What would you tell me? Y'all will be like, it's okay. And as a woman, I think that it's literally life or death for me to adapt that attitude. It's the life or death for my marriage, life or death for my business, life or death for my self-esteem, the way that I see myself. Like it's a life or death for the type of leader I am. Like seriously, being my own best friend, seasons of grace, seasons of rest, seasons of disconnect, seasons of pushing myself. For real. Kizzy says on my toes. Y'all are so funny. I Girl, not me to shed a little tear on the live today. I'm so here for it. Thank you, God. Thank you, Lord. God says, I'm about to put you knee deep into where you're supposed to go, and it's going to require you to get a little vulnerable and uncomfortable. And I'm so here for it. Thank you, God. I used to always say, I would never cry on the live. They're so stupid and so lame and corny. um, Catherine says, for sure, stepping on toes. I'm so sorry, friend. Okay, let me go. Let me go look at the comments and say, hold on. Rashana says, grace to me is being extremely nice to myself, treating myself like I matter and not overloading myself. That's good, especially that overload. Baby, I'm the queen of hell no. I can't do it. I ain't got the money for you to borrow. I ain't got time for you to come. Like, no, 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 no. And anybody in my life will tell you, baby, damn ain't gonna answer the phone. Like, if she don't want to, like, that's just what it is. It don't mean I can't be kind to people, but if I ain't got it mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually for myself, I definitely ain't got it for you until I have a kid of my own, you know? Kizzy says grace is not giving excuses, but a small break to rest and regroup, but not give up. That's real. That's real. I always say rest is a part of the formula. It truly is. It's a part of the formula. And I'm not mad at hustle culture. But when you're in a season of business like me, where it's just been me for forever, um, I just got an assistant, right? Rest is part of the formula. It is. If you want to stay in it long term. Rashana says, I'm not grinding as hard because I don't need to. I need rest more than anything. I love it. That's grace. That's knowing yourself. I'm telling you, you know what's best for you. Not some random piece of content, not some random internet coach. You know what's best for you. You know you tired, mentally exhausted, and need to take a break from social media. So why would we be looking at anything that's trying to force us to think differently? Like to me, that's grace. I love it. Marita, I love it. I love it. I'm so glad that y'all are here. She says, my version of grace is showing me love and peace and understanding. Understanding is such a good word. Peace is a good word. Love is my favorite. She says, because I go through a lot, not making excuses, but I have to do more. I love that. I love that. And I shared that story of my dad because obviously that's my real life. But even when I speak from a place of passion about moving forward, I don't want to speak. I want you to know what my real story is and how that's been my year. And even when I was telling my husband last night before we went to bed, I said Father's Day and Sunday. I said, and I'm dreading it. I'm gonna have to reach out to my best friend. Her daddy died around the same time in a different year that mine did. So maybe we can get together and fry a little few chicken wings or some child and have a little wine and cry together and talk together or something. Which is why, I love the idea of having a village, even if your village is two people. And I know it's tough to find a village though, which is why I create villages in different cities. Like in Dallas, we'll be getting together next Saturday. Have a village. We meet every Tuesday night. And this is the conversation we actually had last night. Rashana, no, she was there. Catherine says, grace for me is not giving up, but keep on moving. Despite the smaller big wins and not being overwhelmed by the flow of your desires or accomplishments, but be patient with yourself. I love that you said not being overwhelmed with your desires or accomplishments. I can't remember. I feel like me and my husband talk a lot about like mindset and stuff because we're both entrepreneurs. And I feel like he was asking me, how do I not get discouraged by negative comments? How do I not get I feel like it was him. I feel like me and him had this conversation, but it was a while ago. I can't remember. And he was asking me like, how do I not get discouraged by negative comments or by like lack of engagement or some of those things? I said I don't get discouraged by it because I don't get encouraged by all of the accolades. Neither of them are a representation of my worth. There's something to pay attention to or see. So I love that, not being overwhelmed by my desires or my accomplishments and stuff. I love it. Kizzy says, I get too comfortable with the risk. I'm aware of my faults. Well, some of them, girl. Hey, I feel you. If that's relatable, type relatable in the comments. If you done had a season where you was resting and you was like, all right now, you've been resting for 5 weeks, 5 months. It's time to get on up. So comfortable with rest. If that's relatable, baby, put relatable in the chat, girl, because I already know. Catherine says, my father died years ago. Girl. Ooh, girl. Seeing him in that casket. Mm, 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 Mm-mm-mm. When I went, my sister went to the funeral home to see him. But I had got my daddy clothes. I did his obituary. And me and my siblings were working together, me and my big sister specifically. And I ordered his clothes and stuff for the funeral. And so I was kind of trying, and I was looking at pictures of the funeral home, baby, and everything, because I was trying to muster up the strength of what it would be like to actually like be there at my daddy's funeral, because I had never been to that funeral home in Memphis or nothing. But baby, walking into that room, woo, baby, knocked the. I'm talking about. I have never, ever, 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 ever in my life experienced a heartbreak like that. Ever in my life, ever, ever. Thank God I was the first person there. Me and my husband were. Thank God my husband was there with me. Cause baby, them folks probably would have called 911. They probably said, "Man, y'all gonna have to come get this lady in here. She got a little conquer tattoo or something, baby, cause she ain't all right for real." Catherine says, "I would love to join next Saturday." Let me write your name down, Catherine. I'll send you the invite for a ticket. We'll be downtown Dallas next Saturday. And when we do Conquering Cocktails, y'all, Conquering Cocktails is it is exactly what it is. It's a conversation about conquering over cocktails. We talk about conquering personal things. We talk about conquering life. We talk about conquering business. We talk about conquering relationships. Um, we have a lot of good questions because we play our signature game, Conquer or Cocktails, which is kind of a little similar to Truth or Dare, but you pick Conquer or Cocktails. Conquer is going to be a question more about your business or mindset. Cocktails going to be a little bit more spicy. So it's a good time if you love I love deep conversations. I love girl talk. I love a little tea. I don't like a whole bunch of mess, but I love a little tea, baby. And I just love conversations about life. I love talking to, especially once we had those cocktails, especially once everybody get on about their second round of cocktails, baby. The conversations be so good. I'll be like, nah, I need to go live because y'all will make me go viral. So I'll send you the link for next Saturday, Catherine, so you can come out. So Catherine says, baby, relatable. I've been resting for 2 weeks. And it's, when my daddy passed away, I did take a little time. Shout out to Ashley inside the Conquer Club. She was my right hand. I didn't have an assistant at that time. She rescheduled all my calls and everything. But I always tell my girls, my rule of thumb is if you get a little rest or you need to step away, just put a little expiration date on it. Like I'll tell myself, okay, not in a grief situation because that's different, but just on the normal, you need to slow down. If you need a little bit of rest, you be like, okay, I'm gonna rest today, I'm gonna rest tomorrow, and I'm gonna rest Friday. But Saturday morning, I'm gonna go to the coffee shop, like whatever you gotta do to get out of your funk, like put an expiration date on that thing because that is man, you'll be out here crashing out like Taraji, girl. Hey, don't be crashing out like Taraji, baby. Taraji said to hell with all y'all. Okay, I'm about to have to get out the live because I got a consultation coming up. We will be back on the show tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. I love y'all so much. Y'all know the vibes. When y'all wake up tomorrow, make sure y'all conquer something. And Dallas ladies, I will see y'all next Saturday. Bye, y'all.
Me, the Conquer Club is a sisterhood. I didn't know a lot of these ladies. I have truly made connections, real friendships, bonds. I've cried with these ladies. It elevated my business so much, just putting a foot on the gas and stomping on necks, like literally. I'm really proud to be a part of this space, and I think this is what entrepreneurs need.